Hey guys, Allie Bloyd here, and I am so excited to start the Remodel Your Marketing 5-day challenge. This is all about Facebook ads lead generation. So I know some of you are not going to be able to make the live video. To be honest, I chose noon just in case people had a lunch break and they wanted to take a break in the middle of the day to watch the video. However, I have no problem changing the time of the live video if you guys want to give me suggestions. I know everybody's schedule is a little bit different, but feel free to drop an ideal time in the comments and I can try and find some similarities and maybe we can switch the time of the challenge videos if this doesn't work the best. I would encourage you to watch the videos live if you can, because we're going to be doing a Q&A at the end and you're going to have the opportunity to get your questions answered live as opposed to just watching the replay. So anyways, welcome. So glad you're here. Before we get started, I'll tell you just a little bit about myself for those of you who don't know. I'm Allie Bloyd. I own Allie Bloyd Media. I have been in marketing for about 8 years, and the last 5 years I've been working specifically with home improvement and real estate businesses. So I was the marketing director for a few pretty large roofing and restoration companies, home improvement retailer and remodeler, and I really have been able to develop strategies that work well for those businesses. I have tested a lot. I have tried a lot of different things. And ultimately my goal was to create a lead generation strategy that was going to allow the salespeople to keep their pipelines full and for the stores or the businesses to increase their sales, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. And so many other forms of marketing can be difficult to track, especially if you are not taking a lot of time to really make those campaigns trackable. So there is ways to do it with more traditional marketing, but it definitely takes a lot of planning up front and some additional setup. So that's really what got me into Facebook ads and online marketing, was the fact that we could track it. I could say, this is what I did and these are the results that were produced because of it. And it's been really successful for me. So I ended up starting my agency, continuing to focus on clients in this niche. I actually love this industry. I grew up around real estate investing. My parents did flips and rental properties, so I was mowing lawns and doing demo and all the dirty work when I was 10 and 11 years old, just to earn some extra money. So that's really my first experience in the industry, and then obviously my career brought me back there. My husband and I also own a remodeling company, and we do some real estate investing as well. So that's my story. I am thrilled to be able to take my knowledge and the years of experience that I've had and really help you grow. Facebook ads is a big part of what I do, and it's a complex topic. So I wanna let you know we're gonna go into a ton of stuff in this challenge, but there's no way for me to possibly explain everything that you need to do to really have this insane lead generation system. But what I am going to do is give you 2 topics every day that we need to go over so that you can really build this plan to start yourself off being successful. And of course, there's always testing, there's always trial and error, but what I hope to do is help you eliminate some of that by giving you what's worked for me so you don't have to do as much of that. So today is budgeting and buyers. They are the 2 first steps in any of your marketing plans, to be honest. So real quick on budgeting, we do have a separate video in the group and I have pinned it as an announcement. I did it a few months ago, but it really covers the entire budgeting for cold traffic, warm traffic, and hot traffic, as well as breaking up your budget for branding ads, conversion ads, and retargeting ads. I will go over that a little bit in this video, but if you want a more in-depth training on that, just look in the group under the announcements and you'll see that video there. So a lot of businesses I talk to be honest, they don't have a marketing budget. You have to set aside a certain dollar amount that you're gonna spend on your marketing. Marketing should not be something that is an afterthought. You say, however much money I have left over, that's what we're gonna spend on marketing. That is not the way it should work. Because if you do it that way, you probably won't have much left. You will, distribute it out to other things that maybe you deem more important. And, it's kind of like beginning with the end in mind. you want to get X amount of results and you know that it's going to take money to get you there. So go ahead and set that money aside. So it can range kind of widely depending on just what type of person you are. If you're trying to grow your business quicker, you might spend more. If you are a little bit more conservative, or if you're a more established business that kind of has these very specific growth metrics that you're looking for, maybe you don't spend as much. So anywhere between 5% and 12% of your revenue can be spent on marketing. I know businesses that spend a little less than 5%, and I know people who will spend all the way up to 12%. So that's really a personal choice for you. But if you have not actually done a marketing budget, that's going to be your first step. And in that marketing budget, you want to pull out as many things as possible. I actually do have a marketing budget spreadsheet that I use every single year. It covers, labor if I'm outsourcing certain things. It covers all my programs and tools that I use for my website and for my digital marketing. It covers the ad spend. So I break it down as, involved as possible so I can see every single line and how much we're spending per year, and I pre-plan how much I'll spend, and once I hit that number, I won't spend anymore. So it really makes you pay attention throughout the year. So first step, setting that marketing budget. Now the second step in that budget, you obviously want to decide if it's all going to digital marketing or if you're going to split it between digital and traditional. That's up to you. But from your digital marketing budget, you need to do two things, and that is distribute between traffic temperatures and then to distribute between the types of ads you'll be running. And traffic temperatures are a very important part of marketing, but really online marketing in general. So you have cold, warm, and hot traffic, for those of you who aren't already familiar with this. Your cold audience is anyone who doesn't really know you. They haven't engaged with you. They haven't heard of your brand. They're just an unknown for your business. The warm audience is someone who's familiar with you. So it means different things to different people, but it could be somebody who's on your email list. It could be somebody who's visited your website. It could be somebody who has engaged with you on Facebook or Instagram, who has watched your videos, things like that. So there's someone who has consumed some type of content that you've put out. And then your hot audience is really going to be people who know you well. They're either a current customer or a past customer or someone who's about to be a customer. These people they know you. They're pretty well invested in your business, and they're your best potentials for resells and things like that. So you need to break out your budget to say, how much money am I spending on each of these groups of people? So typically you want to spend 60% of your budget on cold traffic. So that's your biggest audience pool. You want to try and spend the most money there so that you're constantly bringing new people into your warm audience. That's really the goal. Take them from cold traffic, turn them into warm traffic, and then convert them to a customer. So warm traffic, you're going to spend 30%, and then hot traffic, you'd spend about 10%. So on hot traffic, it's really, you're trying to upsell or cross-sell or something like that. You're trying to increase the customer lifetime value because these people are most likely already a customer of yours. So then the next step is to break it down between branding ads, conversion-focused ads, and retargeting ads. And this is probably one of the main mistakes I see people making, is they don't even consider this. So a lot of people who do social media marketing, they either kind of do one or the other. So they'll be all branding or they will be all conversion focused. So an example would be on branding, just putting out pretty pictures and not really any strong call to action, or maybe you do have something, but there's no reason for anyone to take the next step other than the fact that maybe they are just dying to work with you and they see your posts and it reminds them. And then you've got your other side where people are, buy, this is my product, sign up for this. And there's no balance, and you're not going to have a well-developed Facebook ad plan if you don't have the right percentages of ads going out. So again, you can see the formula more in depth in this other video. It's actually going to say, okay, let's say we have $1,000 to spend. How do we distribute it between, cold, warm, and hot traffic? And then how are we going to break it down between branding ads, conversion ads, and retargeting ads? So typically you're only going to do 20% branding, 60% conversion, and 20% retargeting. You want to have conversions though that are focused on all different groups. And we'll cover this more when we get into offers. That's going to be tomorrow. But not every conversion is somebody buying. Sometimes a conversion is simply getting an email list, getting someone to sign up for something. So that's what I'd recommend. Go watch that video if you want to learn more about it. But realize that you do have to strategically plan how you're going to spend your money based on the types of people you want to reach and the types of ads that you want to send them. So if you guys want to let me know in the comments, have you ever considered breaking up your budget between cold traffic, warm traffic, or hot traffic? Have you guys done any of what I've just been talking about? I'd love to see, you know, if this is a new concept for some of you or if a few of you guys have already been doing it. So then the next thing that we're going to cover today is your audience. And this is probably the single most important part of Facebook advertising, because if you got my checklist, you'll see the quote on there is the right offer will never sell to the wrong audience. You cannot sell ice to an Eskimo, so to speak. And although that tends to be a quote, you know, I can sell ice to an Eskimo. Why would you want to? Why are you trying to fight to get someone to buy you? You know, that's really like a 1 in a million sale. You don't want to be in that audience pool. You want to be in the pool of people who are hungry and ready to buy. So the question is, how do you find those people? And there's a couple of ways. If you have the documents from day one in front of you, I would encourage you to pull out the targeting checklist. These are all of the steps that I go through when setting up my targeting, but what you don't see is the audience research that goes into it beforehand. So you need to be an expert on your audience. You really need to know them inside and out. And the first step in doing that is doing your before and after grid. So that was another one of the documents for day one. Sorry, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. So the before and after grid is something that Digital Marketer created, and I use it for all of my clients. A lot of people tend to think they know their customers. They say, oh, I deal with them every day. I know my customers. I know what they want. And maybe you do, but you're probably not really speaking to that in your advertising. So for example, a lawn care company. A lawn care company is probably saying to people, you know, buy our lawn care service, you'll have the greenest yard in the whole neighborhood. You know, you'll have healthy grass, you'll have nice landscaping. But at the end of the day, is that really why someone buys a lawn care service? Is it why they buy someone to come to their home every week and cut their grass, do their weed eating, all of that stuff? No, it's not. The reason they buy, yes, they want a nice lawn, but they could get a nice lawn on their own. They buy because they want to save time. They do not want to spend their weekends, which is really, you know, the only time they have to quote unquote enjoy themselves. They don't want to spend it on a lawnmower. They don't want to spend it weed eating. They want to be with their family. They want to be with their friends or doing things that they enjoy. And so ultimately that lawn care company, they're not selling a nice yard. They're selling time. They're selling more Saturdays, so to speak. And you're not going to see hardly any lawn care companies talking to their customer that way. But in reality, that's what their customer wants. So speak to what they want. So your customer wants a transformation in all marketing. That is all people want. They either want something that they didn't have before, or they want to get rid of something that they did have before, such as a problem. And so it's your job to really speak to that. And so that's what the before and after grid is going to help you do. You are going to list out all of your market segments. So if you're a remodeler, you could have, you know, residential customers as one of your segments. Within that, you could have several more segments, but I encourage you to just kind of start from the higher level groups. You know, maybe you have property managers as one group of people that you serve. Maybe you have other contracting companies that you work with. So there's a lot of segments that you can put together, which that goes back to our buyer personas, which I put an example buyer persona doc in your day one files. I will tell you there's more documents in day one than there is in any of the others. So don't be overwhelmed if you're like, wow, this is a lot of information. But as you can see, they all kind of tie into each other. You need to do your buyer personas because you need to know your buyer segments. You need to do your before and after grid so you understand what's at the heart of what those groups want. So if you have, let's say one of your buyer segments is a middle-aged mother who lives in a nice house in a nice neighborhood. She's upper middle class. What is she really trying to get? So one of the best ways to do this is to actually talk to your customers, to send surveys and to engage with them and ask them some of their reasons for buying. And that may sound really simple, but most businesses skip that. So somebody like that, you know, they want to spend more time with their family. Like their kids are growing up too fast and they feel like everyone is so busy and they don't get this time to connect anymore. What they want is this quality time with their family in the kitchen, you know, their kids doing their homework at the island, you know, a space that's really easy and functional for them to cook so their family can have a home cooked meal, and just this place that they can kind of escape from the world, connect without a screen in front of them, and spend that quality time and get that good conversation that they really want. So that could be one of their true desires. And so on the before and after grid, you know, you're going to fill out all these different segments. You're going to say, what does their average day look like before they have my service? So really get into their head. What is their average day like? What are the problems they have, the challenges they have? And then you're going to go into, what is their average day like after they have my service? What is their status like? So status is a big driver for people. Status is not always about money. Sometimes it's about knowledge. Sometimes it's about power. Sometimes it's about freedom. You know, whatever people feel like gives them status personally, that's going to drive them. So let's say this upper middle class mom, maybe for her, it's about being kind of the mom that has it all together. You know, that mom who is cooking home cooked meals and has this Better Homes and Gardens type house. And that's not going to be every one of your customers. Sometimes that's not what drives them. But for a lot of them, that's what it is that goes deeper. Like they want to be a great parent, and part of their ideal of being a great parent is doing that. Having those home cooked meals, having the kids over after school, helping them with their homework. So as you can see, you may be selling a remodeling service or, you know, selling someone a new home, but you're not selling them that. You're selling them something that's going to make them feel differently, either about themselves or about their own life. And so go ahead, fill out that before and after grid. Please don't skip it. I mean, it's so very important. Even if you think you already know this, get it in writing, post it in your office, or whoever is handling your marketing or social media, get them to look at it every time they are crafting content, because your content needs to come from that place if you really want it to speak to your ideal audience and to grab them and pull them in. So the good versus evil, that's, you know, easier to do in some industries than others, but really, like, who are they fighting against? You know, maybe for the mom who wants the home cooked meals, they're fighting against, you know, the evil fast food companies who want to, you know, steal our children's health or whatever it is. Find this pull of good versus bad, or this internal conflict, and that's going to be what your good versus evil section focuses on. And so once you have that, you've got your buyer personas, you know your buyer segments, you've got your before and after grid, so you know what these buyer segments want. You really need to start building your audiences and doing some keyword research, doing some research on Facebook as to, you know, this mom that I'm looking for. What Facebook groups is she in? What pages does she like? What types of clothing does she wear? What restaurants does she go to? What types of alcohol does she drink? I mean, these are things that can really help you narrow down your audience, that has nothing to do with where they live or their home value or if they are a homeowner. You can very easily identify people who are probably a homeowner simply from their interest targeting. As some of you guys know, we lost targeting in this last year through the Cambridge Analytica thing. You used to be able to target people based on them being a homeowner. You used to be able to target them based on their home value. But, you know, first-time home buyers or potential to move, those were targeting options. They were third-party targeting options, so they are no longer there. And I heard so many people complain about this when it happened, because that's all they were relying on. You know, that was their targeting and it was gone and they had no idea what to do from there. But to be honest, it didn't really affect me at all. And that's because I never relied on those targeting options to find my ideal customer. I got more creative. So look through that checklist, and I really want you to actually go through all those steps. So that may seem like, oh, this is everything you could potentially do. No, the answer is this is everything you should be doing. Okay, I'm going to try and read some of the comments to see if anybody needs me to answer a question. Okay, so a lot of people are saying that this terminology is new, that it's something you haven't focused on before. So I'm really glad I was able to share that with you, because I'm telling you, it's crucial. You will hear me talk about cold, warm, and hot traffic a lot. So get familiar with those terms, because that is at the heart of your Facebook ads, but your marketing in general. Sam says she's guilty of focusing on branding. You know, so many people are. If you don't begin with the end in mind and say, what is my goal? How many leads am I looking to get? How am I going to get them? Then you don't end up coming up with content that kind of drives those actions. You end up putting out social media content that everybody puts out. Stuff about your business, you know, nice photos, which is totally fine. It's part of the strategy, but it's a much smaller part than some people end up doing. So, okay, so Marty, for the cold, warm, and hot traffic, that's going to be 60% cold traffic, 30% warm traffic, 10% hot traffic. For those of you who are just joining, we do have a video that goes way more in depth into the dollar delegation and the percentages that's in the Facebook group. It's pinned to the top as an announcement. So go through that. It's, 20, 25-minute video, but it really is going to help you understand that. So do you have something for the slow people for figuring before and after grid? So it really is going to depend on your specific business. But just give it a try. You may think that it sounds kind of confusing, but pick your main audience segment. So whoever you serve the most, and maybe it is just an upper middle class woman who's looking for a kitchen or a bathroom remodel. Just do it and try and find her perspectives. Think about the people you've served in the past. What kind of conversations have you had? What has been the reason that they ended up purchasing from you? And I will tell you guys, probably at least 75% of your audience is a female. You may not understand that, or you may have never even considered that, but in remodeling, in real estate, females are driving the decision-making process. If you look at your Facebook analytics, at least, the ones that I look at, we have almost 90% female engagement. And that's not on purpose. Like, we're not only sending ads to females. We do have some that only go to females, but overall, we try and let males and females have the opportunity to engage with our content. And it's almost 90% female. So you need to start getting into the head of a female. What does she care about? She cares about her family. She cares about, having this home that's beautiful, that gives her joy, having space for her kids to run around, having a space that helps her relax at the end of a long day. There's so many simple things that females are looking for from their home that home improvement and real estate people completely leave out of their marketing. So start with a female. Whoever your main female customer is, just try and get in their head. What does their average day look like? And it's gonna depend on that service. If it's a bathroom remodel, maybe it's a small cramped bathroom with not enough space for everything that she needs. It could be a dingy tub that she barely wants to take a bath in, because no matter how much she cleans it, it never looks clean. A place where, if she has young children, it's tough for her to bathe them. If she's married, maybe she wants a spa feel so her and her husband can have a little alone time. I mean, there are a lot of things that go into just somebody wanting a bathroom remodel, or a kitchen remodel, or new floors. I mean, your floors are the place where you're lounging around on the weekends, or that your babies are crawling around on. I mean, a roof, it's something that's protecting your family, keeping you dry, making you, giving you this life that you have worked so hard to build. I mean, you just have to get into the status and these security emotions that people really have when it comes to their home. More than any other product or service, people care about their home. They care a lot. And whether they have the money today to do it or not, doesn't mean they're not thinking about it. So some of these people you're gonna reach, they're not ready to go right now. But your job is to take them from maybe I'm just thinking about it, to, I really think I can do this, to, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to use this company to do it. So you want to guide them through that buying cycle. And so that's where the cold, warm, and hot traffic comes in. You're really moving them through the awareness funnel. And so on audience targeting, okay, the first steps are really to start getting your customer data and uploading those into Facebook. Your email list, your past customer list, those are very, very valuable tools. You want to upload those, create your custom audiences, and you want to target those people directly. If you want to upsell them or cross-sell them something, you also are going to create lookalike audiences out of that data to help Facebook better identify who your ideal customer is. If you've not been doing a lot of Facebook advertising, you're not going to have a ton of information for Facebook to go on. Your Facebook pixel needs to be seasoned. That's the term that you're going to hear a lot when people talk about pixels. And that means it needs to have enough data coming into it that Facebook is able to say, hey, all of these people have these similarities. So we need to show more people this content that look like this audience, if that makes sense. It's a very smart system. Facebook has so many data points on you, it's ridiculous. I don't see it as a negative thing. I think it's a great thing because, number one, people are volunteering this information. They're not putting these deep, dark secrets on Facebook that they don't want the world to know. They're volunteering where they work. They're volunteering if they have kids, if they're married, when their anniversary is. I mean, all of these things. And even though we can't use the third-party data in our targeting anymore, Facebook still has that data. I mean, they can still be using this data to help serve your ad to the right customer. So go through that before and after grid. Go through the audience targeting checklist. If you guys have any trouble going through the checklist, please let me know, but I've laid out every single step that you need. When you are doing your saved audiences, which is going to be your interest and demographic targeting, a few things that I found that really work are to target people who like Home Depot and Lowe's and Menards and Floor and Decor, whatever those stores are in your area that homeowners shop in. Because you can't target a homeowner anymore, but you're not shopping in those stores 95% of the time unless you own a home. So it only makes sense to target people who are interested in those things. I mean, HGTV is another pretty basic one that, yes, some people who don't own a home do watch HGTV, but I would say that maybe 75% of their audience at least is homeowners because they care a lot more. If you're renting, you can't do the projects that they're talking about. The most you can do typically is paint. And so you just don't get excited about it like a homeowner would. And then drive down even deeper. Who are the HGTV personalities? Who are the maybe the people that have the shows that aren't so popular, like Joanna Gaines, for example. You don't have to be a homeowner to love Joanna Gaines. That's a little broad. It's kind of like if I'm in the golfing market, if I try and interest target people who like Tiger Woods, I'm not getting very specific. You do not have to be a big golf enthusiast to like Tiger Woods, okay? Tons of people know Tiger. You could never have bought a golf ball in your life and still like him on Facebook. That's not who we're looking for. We're looking for the people who are more into it. They're more passionate. They buy more things. So think about some of maybe the smaller shows. Who are the hosts of those shows? What are those shows? People who like those are going to be a good potential for you. And then the other thing that I've done is focus on high income jobs. Like if you're looking for somebody who makes a little bit more money, which most of us are, because a lot of these projects cost money, look for jobs in your area that make a lot. So I live in Louisville. If I were doing, and I have done, I'm trying to sell a high-end condo in downtown Louisville. Well, who am I going to target? I can't do it based on their income anymore. So we have an airport in Louisville. We have a ton of hospitals downtown. We have a ton of universities downtown. So I'm going to target professors. I'm going to target nurses and doctors and other techs who work in the hospital. I'm going to target pilots and people like that because I know they make good money. And there are going to be other people who make great money too, and it's a little bit more difficult to find them. But if you have any like big corporations in your area where you know people make a good income, that is a great way to get some targeting that someone might be slightly higher end. You can also target based on if they're married, if they have kids. I know for the businesses I work with, most of their clients are married. Some people buy houses before they're married, and that's, you still want to reach those people. But if you're going to do different segments, then your married segment is definitely going to be one of them. So don't limit yourself to one saved audience where you have every single targeting option you could ever think of. Be really strategic and specific about it. Say, I'm doing this audience for this buyer persona. I'm doing this audience for this buyer persona. And we're going to test them out, and we're going to see which ones work better. Because at the end of the day, Facebook advertising is all about testing. It's all about creating and seeing what your audience responds to. Because you could think you know best, you could think Facebook knows best, but at the end of the day, your audience will show you where they are and what they want from you. And so that's really going to tie into what we talk about tomorrow. But that's all I've got for today on audiences and budgeting. So if you guys have any other questions, please leave them in the comments. I will be on for just a couple more minutes and I'll try and answer those. If not, feel free to post a question in the group and we'll get to it later. Please do the homework. So I just want to reiterate this. I know a lot of people sign up for challenges and things like that, and the emails sit in their inbox, or they don't watch all the videos, or maybe they do and they never actually put it into action. But this information is not going to change your business. It's going to really enlighten you and show you what needs to be done. But if you just let the information sit in your head, it will not make an impact. You have to take it out of your head, put it on paper, and say, this is the plan for my business. Because I can give you all the tips in the world, but everyone's business is a little bit different, even within the home improvement or real estate industries. So you've got to take it and tailor it for exactly your customer, your city, your services, how much money you have to spend. So it really shouldn't take that long. Like, I'm not asking you to do all 10 of your buyer personas in one sitting. But do one, do two, get something together that you feel like you'll start to get the hang of it, and then you can work on the rest as you go. But if you don't have your buyer personas and your before and after grid and things like that, the rest of this challenge is going to be more difficult for you. So every day builds on the last. So do the homework, make a change in your business. I really want to see this work for you. So that would be my best suggestion. And it looks like we have no more comments. So thanks for watching live. Replay will be here if you want to watch it again. And I will see you tomorrow.